sympathy for missing class and being behind. The reason I have zero sympathy is what did I just tell you I do every single day? I record class, okay? So if you're not here, you have a resource, and I'll show you how to get to it in a minute. All right? Now, be prompt. That's why I asked where people were. I don't require that you be in your seat as long as you're in the room. Now, we have grab and go. I don't know how many of you take advantage of that, and I really don't care. Every day you come in, there will be an opening on the board. From the time the bell rings, you have 10 minutes from start to finish to have the opening done and have gotten grab and go and been in here and finished it. Now, if you're one of those people who hangs out in the hall to socialize and you don't have time to get the grab and go, eat the grab and go, and do the opening, that's really not my problem. You can stick the grab and go in your book bag, okay? I had lots of people last year, and I can think of one off the top of my head. Every day she came in at the tail end and just stuck in her book bag. But she was one of those who hung out in the hallway and talked. I can't fix that for you, okay? You know how to get out of first period, go to grab and go, grab the food, come to second period, sit down, work on your opening, eat your grab and go, and continue on. If you want to hang out in the hallway, I can't fix that, okay? So get in here and eat your grab and go, do your opening, and move on. And the openings take a little bit of time. They're not one question. Be polite. Don't talk while others are. Don't talk while I am. If a classmate's asking a question, it's probably something you might want to know. Don't ask me the same question 3 times because you weren't listening. It irritates the snot out of me. I will yell at you. Be prepared. Bring your supplies to class. If you don't have something today, ask somebody. I have stuff over here. I have paper. I have pencils. I have pens. If it gets so bad that I tell you to use a colored pencil, it means I'm out of stuff. All right? Warning. Parent contact, lunch detention, parent contact, lunch detention. I don't do after school detention. I only do makeup work and stuff after school. I'm not keeping you after school. And an office referral. All right, tardy policy is the exact same thing. I will do an office or a tardy referral thing. I don't know if they're going to continue with the 15 minutes after school thing. We got an email from Mr. Estrada today that said they're possibly revamping that. So he told us to continue to fill it out so they could track you guys. Don't know if they're going to continue with it. So we'll see. But I will do lunch detention if they're not going to for tardies. If you need to sharpen your pencil, over there behind, what was your name again? Cecilia. There's a lovely pencil sharpener that's an industrial one. So unless you just jam something in there, you should be able to sharpen pencils and not destroy it. All right, trash cans, there's one at the front, and there's one at the back door. There's recycling at the back door. Please don't put trash in the sinks. They're not designed to be trash cans. Feel free to throw your trash away. Grab and go in particular. If you start leaving trash in my room, in case you haven't noticed, it's very neat in here. I have an OCD complex, so please do not leave trash on the floor. If you start, grab and go will be kept in the hallway. I will be like Miss Hargrave and make y'all stand out there to eat. Gum, I don't mind gum, just don't stick it to anything. It's gross. Y'all ever stuck your fingers under a desk to move it and got gum on your hands? It's nasty. And water, as long as you don't abuse the privilege, I, for the most part, will not tell you can't have water. All right? If we have a fire drill, we go outside. We're the only group that stands there. There's a giant tree right towards the central office. We just go stand there by ourselves. All right? A tornado drill, we go in the lecture hall. I warn you now, it's going to be a little cramped. It's Miss Rector's class, it's my class, and it's Miss Thornhill's class. And we all have class during second period. Okay? Concert choir is somewhere around 30. We're 26 or 27. And I don't even know how many Miss Thornhill has. I think it's in the mid-20s. So it will be really packed. We might even change and go into the hallway because Miss Bowers and Miss Wicker do not have class. Yes, my dear?
I had a doctor's appointment.
Fabulous. You are, I think, the front Herman. Given that's the only vacant seat, you're the only one missing. All right. Code E, we'd go to the stadium. We haven't had one of those in years. Let's pray we don't. And a lockdown, we go on to the back science hall floor. If any of you had Miss Thornhill, you y'all have Miss Thornhill? Same place. Okay? A code E is evacuate the building. Bomb threat. Hopefully we won't have one. All of you had our science? Good to go. Biology, this could be your last credit. Now, I think it was it Victory? How did I say that? How do I say it correctly? Did I say it right? Victory? Okay. You had physical science, right? No? I thought I had somebody who had physical science. Did I have anybody who had physical science here? Nobody had physical science? I thought I had one. Okay, so none of y'all had physical science. So everybody in here is taking this as your third science credit. You should have at least one who's had physical science, and it's truly an elective credit. But since none of you have had physical science, this is not an elective for y'all. This is your third science credit, okay? Once you pass it, your sciences are finished. You can choose whether next year you want to take forensics, which I hear is fabulous next door with Miss Wicker. A lot of people really enjoyed anatomy with Miss Wicker last semester. Anybody take anatomy last semester? Okay, so you've got an elective out of the way. All right, but this one's a required one. Anatomy didn't count for graduation. All right, this one's required for graduation because it's a physical science credit. Now, if you choose to take an AP class, fabulous, but it's not a requirement. This one is. So if you flunk it, what happens? That's correct. You have to turn around and take what? That's correct. All right. This is the way we grade. 50% of everything we do is a test. All right. I usually allow one test correction during the course of a quarter. I will choose the test that we correct. I will tell you in the first quarter it's the first test. Simply because it's the first test. Most people are nervous. Some people don't do as well on the first one. They don't know my style of testing and grading, so I always do that in the first quarter. All right, quizzes are 25%. Those of you who've heard my reputation, I quiz a lot. You'll have the first quiz on Friday. Labs are 15%. You'll do at least 2 lab reports in the semester, sometimes 3. It depends on weather and what happens and how long it is. And then homework is 10%. They're a spot check. Okay, there is no extra credit. I don't give any extra credit. Don't believe in it. Final exam, everybody takes the North Carolina final exam. We still follow the 25-50% rule. I think last quarter, somewhere around 65%-ish or so, got the 50% rule. All right. You don't have to have a 3-ring binder. I recommend it because I punch holes in all the papers, so it's easier to organize yourself. But if you're not really a 3-ring binder kind of person, you don't have to have it. You just need to have a way to organize yourself. Notebook paper, pens and pencils of your choice. You will need a black pen for labs. Black or blue. Can't have pastel. You need a scientific calculator for at home. I've got graphing calculators you can use here, but you will have to have a scientific calculator for the house. Extra help, if you want any kind of tutoring, you got to do makeup work. I'm here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, usually till about 4:30. Okay? If you get behind, you get stuck, come get some help. One of the people who I was helping with during the Blitz, who was struggling with the math, said something to me during the Blitz, and she's like, if you'd have told me that months ago, I'd have figured this out a whole lot sooner. I said, if you'd come for tutoring months ago, we'd have figured this out a whole lot sooner. Okay? So don't be afraid to come and ask me questions. I really don't mind. Bathroom passage, you get 3. This is usually the thing that drives people crazy in my class. You only get 3 from now to June the 9th, or whatever that last day is. Now, that's not 3 per quarter. From now to June the 9th, y'all are at an advantage. Because what do you have before my class? So if you need to pee, do it before you get here. Okay? No issues hall passes during my class. Okay? Now, if you need to go to the bathroom, you gotta go to the office, you need to talk to your coach, run an errand, whatever, it's a hall pass. You get 3. After you use 3, you have to use 10 minutes of lunch detention in order to leave my classroom. Now, before you all wig out, when I need to exceed 3 hall passes during second period, then I'll change my policy. I've done 2 pregnancies, and I still have that problem some of the girls have. I've not needed to exceed 3 hall passes in any class in 28 years. Okay? Not even when I was pregnant. So, I don't need to change my policy yet. If you have some kind of illness I need to be aware of, or some type of personal issue, then you need to come see me and we'll talk. Okay? I don't hand you a hall pass. I just write it down in a notebook so that you don't hand your hall passes to somebody else. They're yours and only yours. If you don't use them, do you get something for them? Yes. Each one is worth 5 points on your last test grade in next quarter. Okay? And I'll add them to whatever our last test is next quarter. Okay? Visitors, we often get visitors. If they come in, just interact with them, demonstrate what you know. Don't laugh at fellow students. Sometimes they come in and get recycling. SMOD, wear your SMOD. I'm not going to address it, okay? Most of y'all are not in SMOD today. As I look around, there are no collared shirts in here. I got stripes. I got all kinds of weird stuff going on in this room, but we're not even in the ballpark of SMOD, all right? Cell phones, I should not see cell phones out, okay? I don't want to address cell phones. If I have to, I'll just take them and put them on my desk. Some days I have a row of 3 or 4 over there on my desk. I don't have my cell phone on me. My cell phone is over there on my desk. Because if my cell phone's on me and it vibrates, what do I want to do? I want to check it. I want to see what came in, okay? I do have a smartwatch. I will glance down to see if it was important. If it's an email that affects y'all, I will look to see what it is. If it's not, then I just will close it out and move on, okay? That way, I don't check it where y'all can't check it. All right, if you want to charge, normally I will allow that. Although I will tell you, sometimes Miss Curry does stroll through. She has taken phones for charging, so be mindful of that. But for the most part, as long as you're not on it, I don't take it. No headphones. We're not listening to music. All right. And we do have new lab facilities. Most of you are aware that Miss Thornhill and I had an upgrade 3 years ago now. So please be respectful of the equipment. Do not try to write your initials on my counter or in the wood. Do not drag things across them. So when we go to lab later in the week and you want to move the scale, put it up and move it. Don't drag it across the countertop. Do not throw trash in the sink. If you see trash in the sink and you don't want to touch it personally, please tell me. I will come get it. I'm not shy or bothered by trash. I'll be glad to move it. The shower at the back, the large silver handle with a triangle, is connected to a shower. It is on all the time. It is connected to a 2-inch water pipe, and it will flow out and spray at about a 5-foot radius. Anyone within reach of that is going to be drowned like a rat. So please don't pull that. Okay? There is a drain, but it's going to make a huge mess, and I don't want to clean it up. Okay? Questions? All right. Can I have the info sheets? All right, and if you will, find your notebooks. We're going to move on and learn some stuff today. All right.
Would this type it up with work in this class?
Sure.
So you don't care like something?
I don't care. As long as you can organize yourself, I don't care. Now, for those of you who wish to join the Reminds, so you have a way to contact me, ask homework questions. That. I'm going to show you how to access the website for those of you who might not be aware. Now, every teacher has a website. Not every teacher updates their website. I update my website every day. I will upload homework to the website, and I will upload the videos to the website every day. At some point after I've taught class today. And it was really nice when I had second period planning, and I just did it after I taught chemistry first period. But since I have y'all, and then I go into the third period directly, it may not happen until later in the day. I think I'm short one there. Nope, I counted right. All right. Come on, there's all. Let me put this over here so I can mark what Kel. All right. This thing is slow today. That's not one more. That's not one more. Yeah. All right, go to the school website. Yes, we're aware. All right, and you can either go to Our People, and you can go to the staff directory, or that's not what I do. I typically just go to science. And once you go to the science department page, you can just click on my website. Now, once you get there, it's got all these links over here. Homework is the one you will use. Now, I keep all the other ones updated too, but homework is the one that will be the one most of you will want. Now, once you go there, all right, I've not updated today's homework page, but let's just say that we go back here to one that would have had homework. All right, so you go there, tells you what the homework is, what the homework is. There's a hyperlink there that will take you to the video, to YouTube. No, we're not watching it. I don't like to hear myself.
Somebody out there in student land.
See, I don't like to hear myself. All right, and if you wanted the worksheet, you can click on the worksheet. And it would pop up. It'll be scanned in. Okay? So if you're not there the day that whatever happens for whatever reason, I'm not very sympathetic to the fact that you are behind when you return. Okay? So everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right. Now, moving on. So we're going to start with some basics. We're going to start talking about measurement because everything that we're going to do in here is going to involve math for 4 weeks or so. So, let's make that a little better. And I try to write neat. My handwriting is not all that stellar. All right. Measurement is just a unit of defined size. We're going to focus on SI units and the factor label method today. Now, SI units stand for System International. Or the International System of Units. Now, these are the units that are accepted by scientists worldwide. And for the most part, these are all units that you guys are familiar with. Now, if we were to start with something like length, the SI unit for length is the meter. Now, oftentimes the SI unit, which is meter, is way too big for what we might want. All right, if we want to measure the length of a pencil, a meter is too long. So, what is a common unit we might use instead of a meter? Can you give me something that's smaller than a meter? Sure, centimeter. Now, some of you might have even wanted to say something like inch. Now, is an inch something that we might use in the scientific community? Yes, no. No, all right, I think it was Herman. Herman shaking his head no back there, all right? An inch, I'm just going to put this in parentheses here. An inch is what we call an English unit. All right, an English unit is only used in the United States. Okay, so things that you might think of that we use here, like inch, pounds, gallons, cups, things that we've used our entire lives. Feet, yards, miles, those things are English units. We use them all the time in our daily lives. They are only used here in the United States. We are never going to use them in chemistry class. I don't use them in physical science class because we don't use them in the science community. Okay? So things that we might use are centimeter, millimeter, kilometer. Any of those things are common units that we might use for length. We would not use yard, inches, miles, because those are English units. So if we switch to mass, what's the SI unit for mass? Any ideas? What? I thought I heard it. It's kilogram. All right, the SI unit is the kilogram. All right, so a common unit would be what? Yep, gram. Or you can even do centigram. Now, if we did time, time's an easy one. Everybody likes time. All right, what's the SI unit for time? It's just a guess. I know y'all don't know. You're just guessing. Okay, so on the clock, think about the units. You got minutes. Minutes is actually common. What else is on the clock besides minutes? Hours is common. Seconds is the SI unit. And you abbreviate it with an S. All right. Temperature. This one, it would depend on who you've had for science as to whether you'd know all three temperature units. Which ones do you know? Celsius is common. Yep. There you go. Fahrenheit. Oops. And Kelvin is the SI unit. Now, Kelvin is abbreviated with just a K. All right, it has no degree symbol on it at all. Celsius is abbreviated degrees C, and Fahrenheit is degrees F. Kelvin has no degree symbol on it at all. It's just a K. Now, the last one we're going to do is the one that we will use in here quite a bit, and it is the amount of substance. And we are only going to do the SI unit. We're not going to do a common unit for this one at all. And it is the mole. And it's the reason that we have moles all over the room. Because we're going to calculate with it, I don't know, in about 2.5 weeks. Maybe less. That's a good estimate based on time. Now, because we're going to learn how to convert today in the way that we're going to work with the entire semester, we're going to work with what's called the factor label method. Some of you probably learned to move decimals, I don't know, best guess 4th, 5th grade, and are probably very good at it. Some of you learned how to move decimals in 4th and 5th grade, and you could never remember whether to move it right and left. You can't remember how many spaces to move it right and left. And so the factor label method is an easy way to do this and to be able to move it correctly. And it also works well with our derived units tomorrow because you can't move decimals with derived units, okay? So, and it also is the way we're going to do all of our conversions later in the semester. Does everybody have a chance to catch up? Yes? Okay. If I go too fast, you need to tell me. I try to give time for everybody to catch up, but sometimes I don't estimate well. So we're going to learn how to use what's called the factor label method. All right, and it's a method of unit cancellation. Now, to use this method, and this is the only time we'll ever write these steps down before anybody's worried we're going to do this more than once. All right, draw a chart. And I will explain the parts of the chart. Number 2, you put the given data on the top line. Number 3, the unit you don't want on the bottom. Number 4, the unit you do want on the top. Number 5, put a 1 next to the biggest unit. And number 6, fill in the remaining places. On the remaining place based, well, I'll just put that there so it's generic for later. All right, have I waited long enough, or do I need to wait longer?
I think we're good with that.
Annabelle's still writing. That's why.
Oh, my trying to make this neat, because I'm gonna need it. You know me, I don't write neat, so stay with me a minute.
I was actually watching somebody write.
Right, I was
No, I wasn't just staring off into space.
Okay, I'm good.
I even checked the time to make sure I knew how much time I had. All right, so if we have to put a 1 next to the biggest unit, and we need to fill in the remaining place, and I'm going to use metrics to illustrate this. Do y'all remember your metrics? Okay, let's run through them real quick. All right, so does anybody remember the catchy sentence that maybe somebody in elementary school taught you about metrics? Something about Henry and King, okay. The chocolate milk, okay. All right, see, we got some memory going. All right, so King, Henry, died by drinking chocolate milk. Okay, so now, do we remember what that goes with? Okay, so kilogram, hecto. I heard it. Deca. What's the by? That's the baseline. Deca's here. Deci. Centi. And milli. All right, so give me some things that can be on the baseline that we might use today based on our SI units we just used. Graham? I heard one. Meter. And I'll tell you we're also going to use liter.
Wait, the base is just the common?
The base will be either the SI unit or the common unit, either one. All right, we're going to use liter. Liter will fall into derived in volume tomorrow. It would have been today, but given the 2-hour delay, we're not going to make volume. At least I'll be stunned if we do. All right, so give me the abbreviations we're going to use for kilo. Just what letter? Okay. Okay. Hecto. Okay, let's jump to centi. And milli. Okay, so I left the deca and the deci separate because they're both D's. So do you remember how those were different? Which one? One of them's got a DA, and one of them's just a what? Okay, so which one's which? All right, DA is deca, and deci is just a D. Now, if you ever take another advanced science class, deca can also be spelled D-E-K-A. It's the same unit. Don't think it's different, but some books will spell it D-E-K-A. It's the same abbreviation, though. All right, gram is always abbreviated as a what? A G. Meter is always a M, and liter is always what? Capital L. So if you see an abbreviation that says D-A-M, that would be what? It would be deca, and then what? Meter. All right. Now, it's always going to be the prefix. Okay, that's the prefix. And then this is the base. Okay, prefix and then the base. Now, if there is only one letter, okay, let's just say it's one letter. Do you have a prefix or do you have a base? That's a base. So one letter would be a base. So that would be what? That would be meter. Okay, that would just be plain meter. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the last thing we need to review, because we don't need to know any of the numbers, is who's bigger and who's smaller. Who's bigger? Killy. All right, so I draw this here. It gets bigger as we go up towards Killy. Okay. Bigger towards Killy. Everybody remembers that from way back in the day in elementary, middle school, right? Because you haven't converted metrics for a while. All right, we all have it? All right, because this is probably all we're going to get through today is how to convert. All right, I don't see anybody writing. All right, so let's say that we have 452 centigrams. We want to change to grams. Now, if you remember how to move decimals, that's fabulous. You need to learn the process because this is how we make conversions all semester long. It's the only way I teach. When we do mole conversions, when we work with balanced equations, and we have 4 sections because we're changing from grams of one compound to grams of another compound, everything is taught through the factor label method. So, this is a chart. Okay? It's shorthand for math class. In math class, y'all draw stuff like this. That's a lot of writing. That's a whole lot less. This means multiply. This means divide. What do these mean in math class? Well, they mean multiply. Same thing that line means. That's shorthand for parentheses. This line right here means divide. Just like that line means divide. It's just shorthand for what this means. Okay? Now, step 2. Write the given data on the top line. What is the given data in our question? What did I give you? So I write 452 centigrams on the top line. Is anybody lost by step 1 or step 2? Yes or no? No, everybody's with me. All right, step 3. The unit you do not want goes on the bottom. What unit do I not want? CG. So CG goes on the bottom. Why am I putting CG on the bottom? So it will do what? Cancel out. Okay? So now CG is going to cancel out. That's why we put it on the bottom. Now, The unit we do want goes on top. What unit do I want? So I put grams on top. Anybody lost by steps 1 through 4? No? All right. Steps 5 and 6 are usually the hardest. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. I will write that a lot. You will find that I'm one of 2 kinds of learners. I'm a visual and I'm an auditory learner. I draw pictures all the time because I'm visual. So I have my King Henry. Step 5 is the biggest unit gets a 1. Did you get your bag? It was on that back counter.
Thank you, sorry.
All right. So when you look right here, which one of those units is biggest? Okay, out of our 2 in the chart. All right, gram or kilogram? Where does gram sit in the chart? It sits on the base. All right, so gram is here and centigram is here. So who would be the biggest? And we put a 1 there. That box is now full. All right, so step 6 says fill in the remaining spot. So we're trying to fill in this spot. Okay, we're not putting anything else in that 1. It's done. We're filling in this place. Now, how many places are there between gram and centigram? 1, 2. Now, what do y'all remember about metrics? They're base what? Base what? 10, right? So this is 1, 2, 10s. 1, 2. So 1, 2, and we put a 1 in front of it. Now, all we have left is to calculate. In math class, 452 times 1 divided by 100. Now, this is the only day all semester I will let you use your phones because it's a 2-hour delay and I'm down to 7 minutes before the bell's going to ring. Normally, I'd make everybody get a calculator, but I'm not letting y'all get calculators and waste my 7 minutes with everybody trooping over there to get a calculator and troop back, okay? So if you take your phones out, I'll let you use your calculators today on your phones. So 452, we're going to say times 1. Do we ever need to say times 1? No, but if you feel the need, because it just makes you feel better, do that. But 452 divided by 100. Now, what did I write at the end of my answer? You always have a unit because what happened to the centigrams? Did the grams cancel out? No, so you have to write grams on the end of your answer. If you forget your unit, I get points. Okay? You do not want to give me any points on Wednesday, so don't forget your unit. Can we try another one? Okay.
So nothing goes in the left box?
No. Now, I suspect we won't have time to get to that. Sometimes I teach what could happen with that left box. We'll just see how time goes. But what would happen with that left box is if you had something that had a hyphenated unit like 4.57 grams per liter, and you were changing grams per liter into, let's say, kilograms per milliliter. That's what that would be for.
We don't want to know.
Sometimes I teach it. We'll see. All right, let's say that we have 2.85. Which way did I go that time? I want centigrams to grams. Let's go hectometers to millimeters. All right, so what do I do first? All right, draw the chart. What goes on the top line? 2.85 hectometers. Okay, so what do I put on the bottom line? Hectometers, because it's got to cancel out. Is everybody with us on steps 1, 2, and 3? Yes or no? Okay, so if hectometers is on the bottom, what do I have to put on the top? Millimeters. Okay, I had to put millimeters on the top because that's what I want. Okay, so hectometers cancel out. Millimeters is what I want. Everybody okay with this on 1 through 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we need to figure out who gets the 1. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So now we're figuring out who's the biggest. And who's the smallest? So who's the biggest? Hecto's up here and Millie's down here. So we know Hecto gets a 1 because it's up at the top, right? Everybody's good with that? Okay. Now, how many spaces between Hecto and Millie? Do I count the baseline? You crossed it, you counted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Check my math. See if I'm right. All right, I'm down to 3 minutes. We're going to do 1 through 6 on this sheet for homework. They're just like what we just learned. All right, the other ones go in volume and density. We have to save that for tomorrow, thanks to the crappy weather we keep having this school year. We're going to do 1 through 6 for homework. How can I have less than I need? All right, who didn't get one? What? All right, everybody got what they need? All right, bell's supposed to ring at 12:15 because I know my clock up there is slow.